There's a place in the Nevada desert where the ground itself watches you, where motion sensors buried beneath the sand can detect your heartbeat from a mile away, where cameras track the heat signature of your body long before you see the fence, where men in unmarked trucks will appear out of nowhere, armed, silent, and authorized to use lethal force. This isn't a scene from a dystopian movie. This is real. And what's terrifying isn't just the security. It's what they're protecting. November 14th, 2004. 2 fighter pilots intercept an object off the coast of San Diego. What they see defies every law of physics we understand. It moves from 80,000 feet to sea level in seconds. It mirrors their movements like it's reading their minds. Then it vanishes at a speed that would instantly kill any human pilot inside. The Pentagon kept this quiet for 13 years. When the footage finally leaked, the world asked one question: what else are they hiding? The answer might be buried in a facility that doesn't officially exist. A place where the sky glows strange colors at night, where employees fly in on planes with no logos, where scientists work on projects so classified they can't tell their own families what they do. Some call it a testing ground for experimental aircraft. Others call it a graveyard for crashed alien technology. But here's what we know for certain. Every major technological leap in modern warfare has emerged from this location. Stealth technology, hypersonic flight, weapons that can melt metal from orbit. And if what certain whistleblowers claim is true, they're reverse engineering something that wasn't built by human hands. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this place has been the center of conspiracy theories for 7 decades. Why people who get too close simply disappear from public records. And why the truth might be more disturbing than any alien theory you've ever heard. This is the story they don't want told. Let me take you back to that day in 2004. The USS Princeton has been tracking anomalies for 2 weeks. Objects appearing on radar that shouldn't exist. Descending from the edge of space at impossible speeds. No heat signature. No propulsion system that makes sense. The military calls them unknown aerial phenomena. But the sailors on that ship had a different name for them. The Tic Tacs. Commander David Fravor receives the call. He's a Top Gun graduate with 18 years of flight experience. Not someone prone to hallucinations or panic. He's seen everything the sky has to offer. Until that afternoon. At 20,000 feet, he spots something hovering just above the ocean surface. White, oblong, about 40 feet long. No wings, no rotors, no exhaust trail. It's just ... there. Fravor begins a descent to investigate. And that's when it starts moving. Not like an aircraft. Like it's responding to his thoughts. He banks left. It mirrors him instantly. He drops altitude, rises to meet him. Every maneuver he makes, the object anticipates. As if it knows what he's going to do before he does it. Then it vanishes. Not gradually. Not by flying away. It simply ceases to exist in that location and reappears 60 miles away in less than a second. The mathematics of that movement are impossible. To accelerate that fast would generate G-forces that would turn a human body into liquid. The sonic boom alone should have shattered windows across the coast. But there was no sound, no disturbance. Just an object demonstrating technology that shouldn't exist. Fravor lands shaken. He files a report. And then something strange happens. The footage disappears. His debriefing is classified. And for 13 years, the incident is buried under layers of military secrecy. Until 2017, when a former Pentagon intelligence officer named Luis Elizondo goes public. He reveals something that changes everything. The military has been studying these objects for decades. They've documented 5 characteristics that appear again and again. Anti-gravity lift, instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic speeds without sonic booms, invisibility to most radar systems, and the ability to move seamlessly between air, water, and space. No known technology on Earth can do this, which leaves two possibilities. Either someone has made a technological leap so profound it renders our entire understanding of physics obsolete, or these objects come from somewhere else. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Every trail of evidence, every leaked document, every whistleblower testimony, they all point to the same location. A facility in the Nevada desert that has been the subject of speculation, fear, and obsession for 75 years. Pull up Google Maps, search for coordinates 37.2350N, 115.8111W. You'll see a dry lake bed called Groom Lake, flat, desolate, perfect for building runways that stretch for miles. But you won't see any buildings, any personnel, any indication that this is one of the most heavily fortified locations in the United States, because officially it doesn't exist. No government map acknowledges it. No federal budget lists it. For decades, the U.S. government refused to even confirm its presence. They call it Area 51, and the security measures surrounding it are beyond anything you've ever seen. Imagine driving through the Nevada desert. You're miles from civilization. The road is empty, and then you see the signs. Restricted area, nitrogen monoxide trespassing. And below that, in stark red letters, use of deadly force authorized. No fence, no visible barrier. Just a warning that they will kill you if you cross an invisible line. How do they know you're there? The desert itself is wired. Thousands of seismic sensors buried beneath the sand detect footsteps, tire vibrations, even the shift of your weight. Motion detectors track movement across miles of open terrain. Infrared cameras mounted on distant hills can read your body heat in total darkness. You won't see them coming. But within minutes of crossing that line, white trucks will appear. The men inside won't speak, won't identify themselves. They'll simply position themselves between you and the base, rifles ready, and wait for you to leave. They're not military, they're private contractors, which means they operate outside normal rules of engagement. Several people have tested this boundary. Some were arrested. Some were fined tens of thousands of dollars. And some were never heard from again. But the strangest part isn't the ground security. It's how the employees get there. Every morning, white planes with no logos depart from a private terminal at Las Vegas Airport. They're called Janet flights, a name that's supposedly an acronym, though no one knows what it stands for. The moment these planes take off, their transponders go silent. They vanish from civilian radar. The people on those flights have signed non-disclosure agreements, so severe that they cut and tell their own spouses where they work. They can't discuss their projects. They can't even acknowledge that the facility exists. They fly into the desert, work 12-hour shifts, and return home as if they spent the day at a normal office. What are they working on? The official answer: experimental aircraft. The unofficial answer: that depends on who you ask. A man named Bob Lazar appears on Las Vegas television. He's a physicist, he claims. Worked at a facility near Area 51 called S4. And what he says next sounds like science fiction. The US government has 9 alien spacecraft. They're trying to reverse engineer the propulsion systems. And Lazar was hired to figure out how they work. He describes disc-shaped craft with no visible engines. Power sources that manipulate gravity itself. Technology so advanced that our best scientists can barely understand the principles behind it. He talks about element 115, a super heavy element that doesn't exist in nature. According to Lazar, it's the fuel source for these craft. It creates a gravity field that bends space-time. At the time, element 115 hadn't been synthesized yet. Scientists thought it was theoretical. 15 years later, Russian researchers created it in a lab. Lazar also describes security measures at the facility. Hand scanners using bone density recognition, a system so advanced that in 1989 it seemed like fantasy. Years later, declassified photos of Area 51 showed those exact hand scanners. He knew details he shouldn't have known. But here's where things get disturbing. After Lazar goes public, his life falls apart. His employment records vanish. MIT and Caltech, the schools he claims to have attended, say they have no record of him ever being a student. His birth certificate disappears from public records. It's as if someone reached into the past and erased him. He reports being followed. Men in black suits appearing outside his home, his car tires slashed, threatening phone calls in the middle of the night. Lazar maintains his story to this day. Never changed a detail, never recanted. Either he's the most committed liar in history ... or he's telling the truth, and powerful people want him silenced. But there's a third option. Some intelligence experts believe Lazar was a plant, a deliberate disinformation agent sent to muddy the waters, to make anyone investigating Area 51 look like a conspiracy theorist obsessed with aliens. Because while the world was arguing about little green men, the real work at Area 51 continued in absolute secrecy. Here's what we know for certain. Every major leap in aviation technology over the last 70 years originated at this location. The U-2 spy plane, designed in the 1950s to fly at 70,000 feet and altitudes so high that Soviet missiles couldn't reach it. When it flew over populated areas, the sun would reflect off its silver body, creating a glowing object in the sky. UFO sightings in the United States increased by 50% during U-2 testing. Then came the SR-71 Blackbird, a plane that could fly 3 times the speed of sound. So fast that if a missile was fired at it, the pilot's protocol was simple: accelerate, outrun it. Its shape was otherworldly, sharp angles, black titanium skin. When it flew overhead, it looked like something from another planet. Ironically, the titanium used to build it was secretly purchased from the Soviet Union, the very country it was designed to spy on. Then, in the late 1970s, something truly revolutionary emerged: the F-117 Nighthawk, the world's first stealth aircraft. Its design was so bizarre that engineers called it the hopeless diamond. Angular, faceted, covered in radar-absorbing material. When it flew at night, witnesses reported seeing a triangular object moving silently through the sky. No lights, no sound. The military denied its existence for years, called the witnesses crazy. Then, in 1991, it appeared on live television during the Gulf War. A plane that had been operational for over a decade, hidden in plain sight. Every UFO sighting near Area 51 coincided with testing of classified aircraft. The government didn't discourage the alien theories, they encouraged them. Because while the public argued about extraterrestrials, the military developed weapons that changed modern warfare forever. If you're realizing that some mysteries run deeper than we're told, you might want to stay for what comes next. Because the technology being developed now makes everything you've just heard look primitive. And the question isn't whether it exists, it's whether we're ready for it. But that raises a troubling question. If the stealth fighters and spy planes were secret projects disguised as UFOs, what's being disguised now? The technology being developed at Area 51 today operates on principles most people can't comprehend. Directed energy weapons that can disable electronics from orbit. Autonomous drones that transition seamlessly from air to water. Hypersonic vehicles that make our fastest missiles look like they're standing still. And then there's the question no one wants to ask. What if the Tic Tac wasn't alien at all? What if it was ours? Some defense analysts believe it was a test. An unmanned vehicle demonstrating capabilities that won't be publicly acknowledged for another decade. The military tested it on its own pilots, recorded their reactions. studied how trained observers would respond to technology that seems impossible. In 2023, a former intelligence officer testified before Congress that the U.S. government possesses craft of non-human origin, that a program has been reverse engineering this technology for decades. Congress didn't dismiss him. They opened an investigation. Think about what that means. Either we're witnessing the greatest disinformation campaign in history, or the truth has been hidden in that desert facility for 75 years. But here's what terrifies me most. Maybe it doesn't matter whether the technology is alien or human-made. Because it exists, that's no longer in question. The Pentagon has confirmed objects in our airspace, demonstrating capabilities we can't explain, moving in ways that violate physics as we understand it. And somewhere behind those fences, those sensors, those armed guards, someone has figured out how it works. The desert keeps its secrets, but the sky is starting to reveal them. And what we find there might change everything we thought we knew about what's possible. The question isn't whether we're alone in the universe. The question is whether we're ready for what comes next.